That first sip of coffee in the morning. It feels like magic, right? It clears the fog, sharpens your focus, and makes you feel ready to conquer the day. We see it as our daily productivity fuel, our trusted sidekick. But what if I told you that this beloved ritual is a double-edged sword? That while coffee is waking up your mind, it might be silently pushing your body towards burnout. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on our favorite beverage to uncover the truth about coffee. Is it a sustainable boost or a recipe for exhaustion? Stick around, because what you're about to learn could completely change your relationship with caffeine. So, how does this all work? How does a simple bean turn into this powerful stimulant? It all comes down to a clever bit of brain chemistry. Throughout the day, as our brain works hard, a compound called adenosine naturally builds up. Think of adenosine as your body's sleepometer. As its levels rise, it plugs into specific receptors in your brain, signaling that it's time to slow down and rest. This is what makes you feel sleepy. But here comes caffeine, the ultimate imposter. Caffeine has a similar molecular structure to adenosine, so it can sneak in and block those receptors. It's like putting a piece of tape over a keyhole. Adenosine can't get in, so your brain never gets the "I'm tired" message. Instead of feeling sleepy, your brain thinks, "Hey, no sleep signals. Something exciting must be happening." This triggers the release of adrenaline, the fight or flight hormone. Your heart rate increases, your pupils dilate, and your liver starts releasing sugar into your bloodstream for a quick energy burst. At the same time, your pituitary gland signals your adrenal glands to produce cortisol, often called the stress hormone. A small, short-term spike in cortisol can be good. It helps with focus and alertness. But here's the problem. When we rely on coffee all day, every day, we are constantly keeping our bodies in this low-grade state of emergency. We're essentially tricking our system into a perpetual state of stress. This constant stimulation has consequences. For one, caffeine is a diuretic, which means it makes you urinate more frequently, leading to dehydration if you're not careful. Dehydration itself causes fatigue, headaches, and brain fog, the very things you were trying to combat with coffee in the first place. Then there's the inevitable crash. Remember all that adenosine that was blocked? It didn't just disappear. It's been building up in the background, waiting. Once the caffeine wears off, all that accumulated adenosine rushes back to its receptors, hitting you like a ton of bricks. This is that classic 3 p.m. slump, that overwhelming wave of exhaustion that makes you reach for another cup, perpetuating the cycle. You're essentially borrowing energy from your future self, and the interest rates are high. Now, you might be thinking, this is just a temporary effect, right? Well, the science suggests it's more profound than that. Research from institutions like Johns Hopkins University has shown that chronic caffeine consumption can actually alter the brain's chemistry. To compensate for the constant blocking of adenosine receptors, the brain creates more of them. This is the hallmark of dependence. Now, you need more caffeine just to achieve the same level of alertness you used to get from a single cup. Your baseline has shifted. Without coffee, you have an excess of open adenosine receptors, making you feel even more tired and sluggish than you would have naturally. This is what we call caffeine withdrawal. It's not just in your head. It's a real physiological change in your brain. Furthermore, this dependence can mess with your dopamine system. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter associated with pleasure, motivation, and reward. Caffeine can indirectly boost dopamine levels, which is part of why it feels so good. But over time, studies suggest that heavy caffeine use can lead to a downregulation of dopamine receptors. This means your brain becomes less sensitive to dopamine's effects, not just from caffeine, but from everything. Activities that used to bring you joy might feel less rewarding, and your motivation can take a nosedive. You end up in a cycle where you need the caffeine just to feel normal or motivated, rather than using it for an occasional boost. It becomes a crutch, not a tool. Perhaps the most critical impact is on our sleep. You might be very careful not to drink coffee right before bed, but its effects last much longer than you think. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours. This means if you have a coffee at 4 p.m., half of that caffeine is still circulating in your system at 10 p.m., according to a 2022 study highlighted by the Sleep Foundation. Consuming caffeine even 6 hours before bedtime can significantly disrupt your sleep architecture. Specifically, it can reduce your deep sleep stage by as much as 30%. Deep sleep is absolutely crucial for physical repair, memory consolidation, and hormonal regulation. You might fall asleep and even stay asleep for 8 hours, but you're not getting the high-quality, restorative rest your body and brain desperately need. You wake up feeling unrefreshed, and what's the first thing you reach for? More coffee. It's a vicious cycle of poor sleep leading to more caffeine, which in turn leads to even poorer sleep. Now, after hearing all this, you might be ready to throw your coffee maker out the window. But hold on, it's not all bad news. The key isn't necessarily complete elimination, but mindful consumption. The goal is to get the benefits of coffee without falling into the burnout trap. So, how do we do that? First, let's talk about timing and quantity. The golden rule is to limit your intake and keep it in the first half of the day. For most people, one well-timed cup of coffee before noon is the sweet spot. This gives you that morning boost you're really looking for, but allows enough time for the caffeine to clear your system before it can interfere with your sleep. If you have a high caffeine tolerance, you might manage a second cup, but try to have it before 2 p.m. at the absolute latest. Listen to your body and see what works for you. Next, let's upgrade your coffee routine. 2 simple additions can make a world of difference. The first is water. For every cup of coffee you drink, have a large glass of water alongside it. This directly counteracts the diuretic effect, keeps you hydrated, and helps mitigate that potential energy crash. The second is a supplement called L-theanine. This is an amino acid naturally found in green tea, and it's famous for promoting a state of calm alertness. When paired with caffeine, L-theanine can smooth out the jitters and anxiety that coffee sometimes causes. It helps you get the focus without the frantic energy, creating a much more balanced and sustainable mental state. You can find it as a powder or in capsules and simply take it with your morning coffee. It's also crucial to talk about what to avoid. The biggest culprits in the burnout cycle are often not traditional coffees, but modern energy drinks. These drinks are a completely different beast. They are often loaded with massive amounts of synthetic caffeine, sometimes 2, 3, or even 4 times the amount in a standard cup of coffee. On top of that, they're packed with sugar or artificial sweeteners and a cocktail of other stimulants. This combination sends your system into overdrive, leading to a much more dramatic spike and an even harder crash. They offer no nutritional value and put an immense strain on your adrenal glands and heart. If you're serious about your long-term energy and health, avoiding energy drinks is one of the best decisions you can make. So, the takeaway here is not that coffee is the enemy. It's that we need to be smarter about how we use it. We need to shift our mindset from seeing it as a primary source of energy to seeing it as a strategic tool for focus. True, sustainable energy doesn't come from a cup. It comes from foundational health habits. It comes from getting consistent, high-quality sleep. It comes from staying hydrated, eating nutritious food that provides real fuel, and moving your body regularly. When you have those pillars in place, a morning coffee can be a wonderful enhancement to an already energized state. But when you use it to mask chronic exhaustion, you're just digging a deeper hole. Remember, energy that is borrowed is not energy that is earned. Let's make the choice to prioritize real rest over fake energy, and use coffee as the ally it can be, not the crutch it can become. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the world of coffee. I hope this has given you some valuable insights to think about. If you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel for more content on how to optimize your health and performance. I'd love to hear about your own experiences with coffee in the comments below. Do you have a specific routine that works for you? Let's continue the conversation there. Until next time, take care and be well.